Hello, I'm Phil from PicoKit. We're going to have a look at the PicoMiniDRIVER from PicoKit. So this is a driver board or a development board from PicoKit that you can solder together and control your projects, whether it's a line following vehicle, farm application, even pinball machines. Okay, so this can be used in all different types of projects. Some of the things that you can actually run, you can run up to 2 bidirectional DC motors over here because we're using an L293D motor driver. You can also run a stepper motor from there or 4 unidirectional DC motors. We also have our pins color-coded now, so we have 3 of the pin headers. Now this is a standard servo style connector that you can plug in multiple different types of analog and digital sensors, inputs and outputs. But the blue ones here particularly can be configured as analog inputs, so you can measure different things like potentiometers, variable resistors, and all sorts of analog circuitry from 0 to 6 volts. Okay. Now, also we have our digital IOs, so there's 5 of those, one over here, which are the black ones. Importantly, one of those is an input only. Some of these also doubled up to drive the ultrasonic sensors, so you do have to be aware of that. When you're connecting these, you can have up to 8 inputs and outputs over here on the low power circuitry, because 4 are used over on the high power side. And in particular, you can have up to 7 servo motors running off this controller. You could have up to 8 digital inputs, the 3 analog inputs as said. With the PicoFlow ALPHA software, you can run pulse width modulation on 7 of those pins and 4 of those. Okay, so up to 11 pulse width modulated pins using the PicoFlow ALPHA software, up to 2 ultrasonic sensors, and that's about it. But there's all different ways that you can configure this because the inputs and outputs and the analog and digital can be moved around and changed, configured in different ways. So this is the PicoMiniDRIVER. We also have a PicoDriver, which I'll show you in another video. But the PicoDriver has more of the same. It has 4 ultrasonics, 8 analogs and such. In particular, this one's running 4 AA batteries, so we've got 6 volts connected here. You can option this with a 3-pin terminal and hook this up to 36 volts on the high power side. To power larger motors, you would need a heat sink, of course, to do something of that higher voltage. But to give you an idea of an application, if you wanted to run some RGB LED lighting that uses a nominal 12 volts, then you could hook up 12 volts to this pin over here that's unpopulated at the moment, and with a 12 volt rail there, we'd be powering this with 4, well, maybe 3 channels of 12 volts positive and 1 of ground, and that way you would be able to switch and even provide pulse width modulation, sine wave color changing on your RGB LED lighting, and you'd be able to hook up switches and sensors and everything over here as well. So that's just one idea of an application that you might use the PicoMiniDRIVER for. At the moment, we are actually powering this from our batteryless coder from PicoKit also. So the batteryless coder is our nice cheap programmer, and it means you don't actually need batteries for most of your projects. Of course, if you're going to run power over here on this side of the board, it's a high power, you do need batteries on that, but you can actually run this low powered side off of here. As long as it's low current, it does have overcurrent protection on it as well, so you wouldn't be able to run servo motors without putting batteries in your battery box. Okay, but you would be able to run ultrasonic sensors, I would think, and other sensors, LEDs, and all sorts of things off the low power side of the development board. So that is the PicoMiniDRIVER from PicoKit. Thanks for watching.